Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First, I want to introduce myself. My name is Seva Asrita. Okay, honorable to Mr. Nuardi MED as a proposal examiner. And this occasion, I would like to present my proposal under the title The Correlation Between Interpersonal and Intrapersonal Intelligence and the Reading Comprehension at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru. The first is about background of the problem. To have a good reading comprehension, people need to get emotional intelligence as well. Brown says that the success in an educational institution and life in general seems to be a correlate of high intelligence. Brown 2007. The intelligence is facilitated learning and in turn will produce optimal learning outcome, especially in reading comprehension. Next about interpersonal intelligence. According to Garner, interpersonal intelligence is concerned with the capacity to understand an intention, motivation, and desires of other people. It allows people to work effectively with others. Smith 2008. And then next about intrapersonal intelligence. According to Weller 2009, students who have intrapersonal intelligence or self-smart are interested in carrying out a series of activities in language classes that are completely different from those that are enjoyable for learners with interpersonal intelligence. Next about the identification of the problem. The first identification is students have low motivation and interest, and also they are not interested in long text in reading comprehension. And the second is students have difficulty understanding in text while reading. And the third is students have lack vocabulary, so that when they find some word unknown, some of them will stop reading. And the last is students also have interpersonal problems that do not create a willingness to read from within themselves over the spirit of reading, but they only read when the teacher asks them to read. Next, about limitation of the problem. The researcher limited and focus on the student interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence and their reading comprehension at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru. Next, about the formulation of the problem. The first is how is student interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence of second-year student at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru. And the second is how is students reading comprehension of second-year student at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru. And the third is there any significant correlation between students' interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence of second-year student at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru? Okay. Next, about the objective of the research. The first is to find out interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence of second-year student at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru. And the second is to find out students' reading comprehension at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru. And the last is to find out the correlation between students' interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence and the reading comprehension at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru. Next, about the theoretical framework. According to Grab and Stroller 2002, say that reading comprehension is reading to understand information in the text, and the overall goal is to have a good grasp of the main ideas, good grasp supporting ideas, and to relate those main ideas to background knowledge as appropriate. And according to Robert et al. 2001, says that interpersonal intelligence refers to people's effort to recognize the feelings, emotion, and behavior of the others. And according to Robert et al. 2001, refers to intrapersonal intelligence as the ability to recognize ourselves. Okay, next slide is about the relevant research. The first relevant research is by Mani Jauzani and Reza Biria 2016 with the title The Relationship Between Interpersonal and Intrapersonal Intelligences and vocabulary learning strategies used by EFL learners. This is to investigate whether there is a relationship between the EFL dominant intelligence of the learners and the vocabulary learning strategies they use. And the second relevant research by Moh Shafiq and Afifah Raihani 2020 with the title A Comparative Study on English Speaking Skill Between Interpersonal and Intrapersonal Intelligence, a student in the third semester of English Teaching Learning Program of STAIN Pemekasan. This research to investigate whether there is a significant difference between interpersonal student and intrapersonal student on their English speaking skill. And the subject were third semester of the English Teaching Learning Program of STAIN Pemekasan on their English speaking skills. Okay, next about the operational concept. The first indicator is X1 is Interpersonal Intelligence, Gardner and Checkley 1997. The first indicator is enjoy socializing with colleagues, and the second is often give advice to his friend's problem, and next have an attitude of empathy and concern for others, and next learn very well when in situations that build interaction with one another, and next very productive and growing rapidly when learning cooperatively and collaboratively, and next about the always involve themselves in clubs and various extracurricular activities, and very caring and attentive to social problems and issues. And the last is ability to get along with others, lead high social sensitively, and cooperate with each other. Next variable is second, the X2 or the Student Intrapersonal Intelligence. Campbell 2004. The first is be aware of their emotional territory and finding ways to solution to express their feelings and thought, and developing an accurate self-model and motivate to identify and fight for its goals, and building and living with the ethical or religious value system, and work independently, continually manage learning and the development of personal goals, and trying to find and understand his own inner experience. And operational concept for variable Y is reading comprehension, Nuttall 1982. The first is students are able to find the main idea of the text, and the second is students are able to find specific information, and the third is students are able to identify and references word of the text, and students are able to make inferences from the text, and the last is students are able to find the vocabulary in the content, in the context, I mean. And then next about the assumption and hypothesis. For the assumption is the researchers assume that there is a correlation student interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence and the reading comprehension. And then for the hypothesis, there is no correlation between student interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence and reading comprehension. And the second hypothesis is there is a correlation between students interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence and the reading comprehension. For the method of the research, the first is research design. This research is used the correlational research design Creswell 2012, and for the object, student interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligence and the reading comprehension, and for subject, the second grade of SMK PGRI Pekanbaru, and the time on July 2022 at SMK PGRI Pekanbaru, and the last is location located on the Jalan Brigjen Katamso number 46 Pekanbaru. And for the population, the researcher used total the population 150 students. And then next, about the technique of data collection. The researcher used the questionnaire to get the data and then use tests. The last is technique of the data analysis. The analytical technique that will be used in the study is product moment correlation. Okay, I think that's all from me from my proposal. Thank you, and I'm sorry for my weaknesses. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.